let's turn to the panel video. This is freaking gold. So get your popcorn, get your drinks out. We're going to jump into this.
I just was curious, Taylor. This is all about misinformation, right? And then with so much coming out and so many editor critiques and changes to some of your work lately with people like Ricada and Umbrella Guy and Legal Bites, who 2 of the 3 are lawyers, right? And they're covering that trial. How can we take what you're telling us about misinformation seriously?
That's a really good question.
So she didn't even wait for him to finish. So he literally said, how can we take it seriously? And before he finished the word seriously, she spoke over him, which shows that she wasn't really thinking about the question. So right away, like these are things you can pick up on right away, that she's not really listening to him. She did have a pre-planned response, and she did have a kind of a canned response here. And you're going to see throughout this is, I think, the last question before the panel gets shut down. You're going to see how defensive she gets and how she turns this around. This was a question about how can we reconcile people who are lawyers, who have an obligation to tell the truth, who can get in trouble. Both of them, by the way, could get in trouble for, openly lying, for, coming out there and making mischaracterizations. Both Legal Bites and Nick Ricada are lawyers. They could be sanctioned. There could be potential punishments against them, in their respective states. I know at least Legal Bites is active, right? She's actually active in her state, so she could be reprimanded for lying. Versus Taylor Lorenz, who can say what the fuck she wants to say and really has no repercussions. So this is the question to her. And by the way, of course, notice all the masks. So she was saying there's no precautions, right? And she's trying to say that because the attendees aren't required to wear masks, right? But they're all allowed to wear them if they want. They're all allowed to wear them if they want. They're allowed to be as deranged as they want to be, right? So let's see how she responds.
I think what you're bringing up is actually a misinformation campaign.
So right there, she said, what you're bringing up is a misinformation campaign. So she is saying that Nick Ricada, that Umbrella Guy, and Legal Bites are all misinformation campaigns. That is what she's saying. She's saying that all that information that you've been seeing from these channels, and by the way, I'm sure my channel will be included in that. If I had pissed them off significantly, if my channel was large enough, they would have thrown it in there. If I had another 100, 200K subs, they would have thrown me in there. By the way, they're a chair apart from each other and still wearing masks. So they are 6 feet or more. That's probably 12 feet away from each other. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'6", so my wingspan is 6'6", and I know that's more than my wingspan in between those people. So they're spaced out. They're still wearing masks, but they would 100% consider my channel misinformation too. And why? Because it's analyzing the facts, because it's analyzing the evidence. They don't want you to do that. What the mainstream media wants and what Taylor Lorenz wants and what the Washington Post wants is for you to only listen to them. Anybody but them is misinformation. That's how they want to spin this, is that the only people who can tell the truth are people that have been vetted by the establishment. That's what they want. By the way, that's what Biden was trying to do. And I don't mean to make this political, but when people start things and when people make things, I have to comment on it, right? The point is, Biden started or tried to start a misinformation bureau, a disinformation bureau. That is 100% against the spirit, if not the letter, of our Constitution. And it's also against the point of having freedom of the press. Everybody should be able to speak their mind. If people have facts, they should be able to back them up. You shouldn't have to silence somebody completely. You should be able to bury them in facts and evidence and logical, reasonable arguments. The point is, they can't do that. Their only move is the ad hominem attack to call them misinformation and disinformation. That's their one move. That's their up B. That's all they've got at this point, is to call people names. Yeah, and guys, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about making stuff political. I just make the statement. I know some people get sensitive about it, but look, I'm just saying it's what's happening, and you cannot ignore it. The people on the internet and the people on YouTube that try to ignore it, they're doing you a disservice. Because if you're not calling it out everywhere it exists, you're not doing a proper service here. All right. So, and yes, this dude, Mexican Iron Man, yes, this dude has green hair. He is definitely Team Incel. He's definitely Team Incel. Oh, and let me catch, I got a couple super chats here. Stormy says, just want to say, hey, mindset, keep rocking on. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Hugley says, come on, people, hit that like button. Yes, please smash that like button. 1,800 of you. Let's get to 1,000. Lacey, super sticker. Appreciate that. And shut up, I good Morgan. I hit the like button. Amazing. Appreciate it. Appreciate it from all of y'all. All right, let's keep on rocking here.
What happened recently is an editor put this like boilerplate line in my story saying like, oh, you know, we reached out to these two people for comment. We actually absolutely like, you know, it was just like an erroneous.
So did you catch that? She said her editor put that line in her paper. Did you hear that? She said her editor did that. Her editor did that. So she didn't even take responsibility for this. And by the way, Meme Copion, what's up? Good to see you, brother, in the chat. I know you covered this, so shout out to you. But Pickle said her speech patterns and breathing, she is shook as fuck. Yes. And her body language, I'm going to rewind this a couple seconds because this part, she can't even finish her thought. She can't even finish what she's saying. Listen to this again. I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
Reach out to these two people for comment. We actually absolutely like, you know, it was just like an erroneous line that he added.
She couldn't even finish the thought of, we absolutely didn't. That was what you wanted to say here. I'll play it one more time. Just listen to the whole thing.
Recently, as an editor put this like boilerplate line in my story saying like, oh, you know, we reached out to these two people for comment. We actually absolutely like, you know, it was just like an erroneous line that he added. I flagged it immediately. It gets, you know, taken down.
Oh, so she's taking zero accountability for it. So she takes zero accountability. She takes no responsibility for that, which, by the way, sounds very herd-like. And one of the reasons why, you know, I love this, I love the herd simps, because a lot of them act like Amber. And when they see Amber, when they protect Amber, they're really protecting themselves. They're protecting their own behaviors. They're protecting people like them so they can get away with bullshit like this. So they can gaslight everybody. They can gaslight the world through the media and saying, oh, no, it wasn't me. It was my editor. By the way, notice that the editor is a he, by the way. The editor is a he, right? So it's obviously a cis male, probably a white male. I guarantee you it's a white man that made the decision. It's a white man that made the decision, right? Guarantee you, 100%. Let's go on here.
But instead of the news organization kind of recognizing, oh, this is just this bad fake campaign over nothing line. By the way, we did reach out to them for comment immediately after the story. They were both basically like, fuck off. She's like, oh, all that should have happened.
By the way, Tug and Alita, if they say, like, okay, that's one thing she probably got right, because Tug would definitely tell Taylor Lorenz to go fuck off, because obviously they were going to do a smear piece. Obviously they're going to talk shit. Like, obviously they're going to have nothing good to say about them, right? So I mean, that's going to be pretty obvious. That I do believe. I do believe Tug would say fuck you. I think Alita, she's kind of nice, so she wouldn't say fuck you, but she would say a polite fuck you.
It's a simple line saying, oh, you know, previous versions had reach out for comment. We've since reached out to them, they've declined, right? That's all you need to say. However, I think what happened is you saw these types of campaigns really effectively exploit our newsrooms. So
she's accusing people who were reporting on the truth of exploiting the newsroom. So this is what they get. So they're literally saying they're exploiting big media. They're exploiting mainstream media. What the fuck are you talking about? How, you guys put out the information. Here's what we're doing. Let me be very clear about what we are doing online. We're having accountability. This is accountability. This used to exist. It doesn't exist anymore. It's, you know, I remember back in the day, I'll admit this, like way back in the day, like way back in the day, I'm talking like over a decade ago. I used to be a fan of very early Daily Show content. I used to like Jon Stewart way back in the day. And I'm talking like way back when he would rib everybody. He would just rib on the news. He'd rib on Republicans. He'd rib on Democrats. when it slid into a political thing where he's just ribbing on one party, not really as much fun anymore, right? That's not really as much fun anymore. But I think the news needs some accountability. And for a while, comedy, for like a split second, comedy actually ribbed on the news and ribbed on the establishment. But that really went away. There's not really anybody out there who's holding them to account, even by mocking them. It's really only online content creators, only LawTube was holding the people accountable, the news accountable on this item. Now, the thing is, there's many more areas where we need to hold them accountable. And frankly, that's why I have my channel, to hold the news accountable, to hold the mainstream accountable, because they're fucking lying. They're not just skewing things anymore. They're lying. They're telling the opposite story of what's actually going on, which is insane. It's really insane. It's a new world. It's a new paradigm. And yeah, I do agree. Daily Show used to be funny. Yeah, Colbert, like the first little bit of Colbert was funny. After that, that's after that, it kind of went downhill quick. He gave in. And the beta on the left, nobody, these are nobodies, right? So these, I don't even know who these people are. These are really nobodies. So let's continue. And by the way, if you like this content, please make sure you smash the like button. It helps us beat the mainstream media by you guys smash the like button and by people staying engaged on this.
They kind of kept pushing and harassing our editors, and we're flooded with thousands of emails and threats and horrible things. My family's doxxed, I'm doxxed. All of this stuff happens. They make it trending. They make it controversy. And then you see the editors scrambling. Oh my gosh, do we need to put more? What do we need to do? What do we need to do? And it becomes this whole bad faith sort of outrage cycle.
So they're calling the people out there bad faith outrage. Here's the funny thing. Here's the really funny thing, because some of you are new to this. I've been in this covering news for a while, and I've seen how this has gone. And this is one case in which the mainstream media has been called out and shamed. But most of the time, the editors do not flip out when we come for corrections, when we tell them something's not right. In fact, most of the time, they don't do shit. They go ahead with the misinformation and disinformation. This is one time that they were called out where so many people reached out that they had to correct it. It's one of the very few times. This is rare. So for her to say, oh, this happens all the time, this is them caving. No. Far more often, people cave to Twitter influencers like Taylor Lorenz. She wants them to be her simps. She wants the mainstream media and editors and newspapers and periodicals and shows to only simp for Twitters. To only simp for the Twitter blue checks is what I mean. The blue checks. The ones that are verified. The ones that are trusted sources. They don't want people to listen, or rather the mainstream, or rather anybody, to listen to regular people. They don't want the Washington Post to have to issue a correction for regular people. They want it to only be when there's a blue check brigade along with their bots that are supplied by Christopher Boozy. That's the only time when they want there to be corrections. They want things to be retracted when they don't fit the agenda. And by the way, if this had been about Amber Heard, and this had gone against the hashtag Believe All Women, and this had been 8 months ago, you better believe, based on a coordinated campaign, they might have retracted the statement. If this was a pro-Johnny Depp article that was before and made what was considered as some misstatements about Amber Heard, you better believe the whole article might have been retracted. This wasn't even an article retraction. This was like a minor correction. So the reason why she got all up in the air about it, the reason why she's so defensive about it is because she knows she fucking lied and she knows she's responsible for it. And her body language tells that. Oh wait, they defend cuties on this one? Holy shit. How can you defend that show is undefensible. That's one of the things that Netflix, like initially when Netflix did that, I'm like, oh, Netflix, you're really skirting with danger here. Really skirting with danger. Daniel says, a well-deserved demotion this week for Miss Lorenz from features to tech reporter, with her work now needing editorial approval from senior editors. Keep up the Amber/Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. That's always my defense. It's one of my favorite songs, by the way. Shaggy is a genius. Shaggy was before his time. What's up? By the way, Beaver, what's up? We had a lot of good Beaver jokes in the chat on Valiant's channel the other day. I always enjoy a good Beaver. That's my personal opinion. Let's continue with this.
And I think that people's misunderstanding and kind of recognition of, hey, like, you know, Umbrella Guy, I'm sure you know who this guy is, like, you know, he was heavily involved in other sort of movements to attack women in. So
Umbrella Guy is a misogynist, apparently. So he's a misogynist now. So he's attacking women now. Okay. If it's women that are abusers, then they deserve to be attacked. And see, this is the problem, especially with these completely woke folks and these deranged lunatics like Taylor Lorenz. They do not understand or communicate nuance. There's a difference between a woman who is an abuser and somebody who is a normal human being. If you said all women are abusers, that is not true. That is a lie. And to say conversely that all men are abusers, that is also a lie. However, some women are abusers and some men are abusers, not all. Making a general statement that Tug is attacking all women makes him sound like an incel, which, by the way, is their propaganda, that everybody is a misogynist incel, that we're all these people sitting in our closets alone, that we are not talking to women, that the audience right now isn't majority women, which, once again, not a fact. In fact, let me do a little poll right now. We're doing a little gender poll here today. Okay. So let me add one option. So we're gonna have 3 options. We're gonna have male, we're gonna have female. I'm gonna add one option because I need to represent this. I'm gonna have emu, right? Okay, so male, female, emu, right? Poll is up. Please tell me how you guys identify, because I want to talk about this. Whether you're a male, a female, or an emu. It's very, very important for me to sort that out. So I need to get that sorted out real quick. Because obviously we're all incels. That's obviously what's going on here. Let's play a little bit of this while that poll runs.
These ways, and so I think we need to be really aware of how these things operate, and that our media organizations need to not freak out and react and try and kind of quell the mob. Just say, hey, wow, like, this is a mob. This is not engaged in anything. You know, certainly there was no corrections to that, you know, fundamental, and nothing in that story was like, you know, we spoke to influencers with millions of followers, right? They were like, there's no fundamental issue in the story other than an editor added this erroneous line that was immediately.
Do you hear what she just said there? She said, we spoke to influencers who thought there's no issue. Did you hear that? Influencers are not the people that decide whether something is true or not. An influencer who's going to back you up, if you're asking Eve Barlow or Chris Boozy, they're going to back you up. That's who they spoke to on this. It's incoherent. She's rambling, yes. And you can see her body language. It's quick. She's gesticulating wildly. It's not great. And she's not like me. You know, she's not doing it in a thoughtful way. You know, I gesticulate with purpose. She's, on the other hand, just wildly gesticulating.
Immediately fixed, but you see, right? I mean, EJ, I think you saw it as well, like, just sort of.
By the way, seeking approval, that's when you know you're wrong. You're trying to seek approval, and, you know, you're trying to get somebody else nodding.
How these things can, people can be so misinformed.
I think
she's saying all those people are misinformed. So everybody who is watching Tug and Ricada and Legal Bites, all misinformed. You guys are all misinformed. By the way, speaking of misinformed, apparently you're about 50% female, 32% male, and 20% emu. So at least 60% of this chat does not identify as male. So we've got a good emu female ratio in here. So we're doing pretty good, guys. We're doing pretty good. It's emu, right? You guys saying emu. So I get it. People are saying it's emu versus emu, whatever. I'm going to say it the American way. We're going to say emu. It's fine. Deal with it. You guys can correct me when I'm in Australia, right?
There's oftentimes prioritize de-escalating audience reaction over protecting the journalist. And it's happened to me, it's happened to you. And they do goofy stuff, man. I mean, your thing wasn't goofy, but what happened with me in LA Times was like goofy as hell. Like, and you can see.
I don't know whether this is a dude or a guy. I'm just gonna honest. I need to ask the pronouns on this this individual on the left here.
It was on a much smaller level, but my editor, somebody was like, called me an influencer who just reads headlines. I like tweeted about it. They were like, you're harassing me. I was like, I never named you. It went on this whole entire thing. My editor jumped in to be like, we stand by V. They're doing a real journalism. She wrote back and said like, I hope this doesn't burn a bridge for me at LA Times. And my editor wrote back, no, you do such great work. We're so proud of you. And I was like, Samantha, you have just empowered the woman who was bullying me.
See, here's the
But it's
problem.
silly sometimes. I mean, sometimes, but it's always an editor trying to de-escalate or prioritize an audience reaction because that's more normal to them. It's like getting a letter to your editor.
I think I
So the argument there is just jibber jabber, and I guess they're trying to say that their editors prioritize the audience over them. I don't think that's legit. I don't think that's actually real. By the way, we're at 2,000 live watchers, guys. Smash that like button. Let's get to 1,000. We are literally 95 away. We can get there. You can get it up to 1,000. Then I'm going to shut up. Once I have it at 1,000, I'm going to shut up. I'm done. I'm not going to ask for likes. So my guys, take 2 seconds, smash like button. It really helps us.
I wrote a good Twitter thread on this, if I do say so myself, with the help of our PR team.
Yeah.
But just, we need to recognize bad faith attacks when they're happening, and we need to recognize network harassment, and we need to.
So that umbrella guy, Rakeda, Legal Bites, LawTube, we are networked harassment and we are misinformation. I love these words they make up. They always make up these bad faith attacks. Thank you. Midnight Motorcyclist got that one too. Bad faith attacks. So these are the made up words that they use. And by the way, we did get to 1,000 likes. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Guys, you are the best. You guys fucking rock. And now I'm going to shut up about it. Right? So they'll make up these buzzwords and they always try to see which ones stick, which ones do stick. Oh, and by the way, Law Patrol says, if you wind up having a LawTube convention, I'd fly over and use the correct your use of email myself. Well, someone brought that up. I think Good Logic brought that up. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it needs to be somewhere cool. So at least I have fun going. Like, I mean, make it somewhere like, I don't know, Vegas where I can have some fun, or make it somewhere international. I would love that. That's more fun for me than going back to the same old places and going somewhere boring. Let's continue here.
Sort of talk about that stuff, and I think most people don't have to what I don't have time to understand the back and forth, right? I don't understand why is Taylor Lorenz controversial, right? Or why are people coming for V? I guess she's problematic. Like that's the
Oh, so this is a she. So this is apparently a she. Okay, so all right, well there you go. Just a butch she. Got it.
Way, and so I think this is why we need to educate people about the media ecosystem and the creator economy, for a better word, so that we can say people can see those things and they can say, oh, this is just bad faith bullshit, right?
But everything is content. So for that person who had a tiny little dig on me or whatever, it became 16 videos for her.
Yeah, right, of course, and that's their incentive.
And I also want to say, in your defense, a lot of the issues that were at stake in that particular campaign were just mundane newsroom stuff that honestly happens all the time. Minor miscommunications with editors, with them adding a line and they're not aware of it. That happens all the time. And people not responding for comment, or and even my understanding was that piece wasn't even about those two people.
No, wasn't that
it was a parent said it.
It was about those two people, you motherfucker. See, this is their thing. Number one, they're blaming the editors. Number two, they're trying to say it's not even about those people. First of all, she says, as I understand, which implies she hasn't even fucking read the thing. So she's commenting on something she doesn't know about, which is, by the way, par for the course of the mainstream media. They do this shit all the time. They don't even read it and they comment on it. And look, if I haven't read something or if I don't know something, I caveat it. I said, look, I haven't read the article, but from what I've heard from others, this is what they've said. Is that correct? I don't know. Please correct me. But she's saying it authoritatively, but it was about them. If they are mentioned in it and the amount of money they make and their fucking full name is mentioned, it is about them. It is about them. The fucking title of the article was about content creators. Legal Bytes, Nick Rekieta, and that umbrella guy are content creators. Therefore, thus, that is complete bullshit. So this stuff is bullshit. And I know, by the way, I know it happens all the time. That doesn't make it better. It needs to be called out. This just is a good point to call it out.
Like they had no obligation to even like, no, shut up. Yeah, but you did. And you
So yes, you don't have an obligation to reach out. It becomes a misstatement when you make a statement about them and you don't, attempt to correct it. Also, it can be potential defamation if you're making a statement about them and it's knowingly false. There you go. Latest PR budget shopping in the Hamptons. Yep, very true.
corrected it. And then that's like minor bureaucratic nonsense that does not actually affect like the crux of the story, and it happens.
That actually completely affects the crux of the story because you're talking about how much they make without actual information or actual data on how much they make. That's the whole point. I mean, once again, you're lying about how much they make. That's the point of your article.
Like all the time. And so it was frustrating for me as somebody who works in your industry and knows that and knows the internal workings of newsrooms is like, oh, this is clearly being weaponized as a bad faith campaign against somebody who is getting a lot of attention on social media. Even
they're trying to say it's because she's so popular. They're saying, oh, it's because she's so popular. No, it's because it was a fucking lie. Not because she's popular, because she's a disingenuous liar. She lied. Those statements were lies. And she got caught with her skirt down. Now watch this. Watch the ending here. Stay tuned. Watch the ending. Watch how it ends. Let's pay attention, guys.
It's like the most boring shit in the world.
And I'm sure that someone's like recording this talk and gonna put it online and take, has already tweeted 10 out of context quotes like that.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So she's already trying to cover her ass. She's trying to already cover her ass. She's saying, oh, well, this is going to be taken out of context. How is it out of context if they got the whole conversation in there? See, this is the thing that blows my mind is how is it out of context if the whole video, the whole audio is captured here? This is once again, they're trying to tell us that the things we're seeing, we aren't seeing. They're trying to tell us the things we're hearing, we're not hearing. This is gaslighting live. Us commenting on it is, okay, you can say our comments are unfair. You can say they're mean, but how are they out of context if we're watching the whole video that's recorded? In fact, I would say that's true context. We're actually giving her full context here.
I think so. I trust you.
No, but that's why, I mean, that is the content ecosystem. That is what we're talking about. That's what we have to educate people about.
Oh, yes, yes.
So anyway,
Maybe last question and then we move on.
That look.
If you have something to say it. If not, you don't know these people shit, But we are out of time. So
yes, thank you guys so much. We'll be around.
So they wrap it and she just runs the fuck out of there. So runs out of there. She didn't get a question. Big pun, the security guard gets up here because obviously they need security. And Broham here.
That's what we call a panic response.
Yep, there you go. So that was it. That was the end of that one. So that was all the response to one question. Really crazy. So guys, this is what happens when they get called out. They freak the fuck out. They panic. They start spouting some jibber jabber. Yeah.